Adab and welcome. I'm Aditya and you're watching The Indian Atheist.
Namaskar, Adab and welcome. I'm Aditya and you're watching The Indian Atheist. In this zeroth video or pilot feature, I want to introduce the fundamental idea behind this channel, elaborate our objectives, our vision, and outline the expectations that you, the audience of this channel, can have from us, as well as some that we have from you. In its essence, the Indian Atheist is envisaged as a celebration of science, reason, and critical thinking. As the title suggests, most but not all of the topics that I aim to cover in the subsequent videos will be directly associated with the atheist ethos and aspirations. Most will also have a distinct Indian context, or at least an Indian subtext. India is the second largest country by population, and it also happens to be the largest democratic nation in the world. And yet, the atheist voice in India is feeble at best, despite the country having what I doubt is a respectable freethinker population, albeit closeted. I hope that through this channel, we can help the people of my beloved country understand and maybe even identify with the atheist experience without fear of persecution or alienation. I know on the outset that it's a lofty and somewhat unrealistic goal, but such are our intentions nonetheless. And secondly, although all organized religions, without an exception, operate on the basic principle of in-group loyalty and out-group hostility, the precise manner in which these notions are reinforced in the heart and mind of the believer, the drug delivery mechanism, if you will, varies from religion to religion. In this context, the Eastern religious traditions are markedly different from the Western brands of monotheistic religions, and hence a significant part of the defense mounted by the Western rationalists will not be as effective or productive in the East. For instance, in this part of the world, people don't really care about the creation myth. Not that we don't have one, but we simply don't care. Everybody knows that it's just a story, so most of the educated among us are perfectly fine with the theory of evolution by natural selection. Now, that kind of disarming attitude towards or outright acceptance of evolution by a society that prides itself on being religious can be overwhelming or confusing to a Western atheist or even to an Eastern atheist who was introduced to atheism primarily through the Western atheist literature, media, and popular culture. A secondary objective, therefore, is to offer the Western viewers a glimpse into the vast multitude of religious traditions and beliefs in the Indian subcontinent and clearly distinguish between what's similar and what's different about our faith systems and what, therefore, if anything at all, can be done to counter them. Now, I cannot presume to speak for all atheists, but in my case, atheism paved the way for a lot of other profound changes in my personal constitution, and I know for a fact that that is the case with most atheists all over the world. If you really, truly understand and internalize the guiding principle that is the doubt that led you to atheism in the first place, then slowly but surely that seed of doubt will begin to germinate in many other seemingly unrelated aspects of your life, and with that comes the intense realization of how closely intertwined religion is with our day-to-day lives. This, I suspect, is especially true of a polytheistic religion like Hinduism. So as audience, you can certainly expect that the Indian atheist will not only cover topics related to a wide variety of the aspects of atheism and religion in the Indian context, but will also touch upon issues that have a natural connection to atheism. For instance, the scientific method, free-thinking inquiry, skepticism, feminism, education, environmental conservation, the nature of privilege, the institution of marriage, the rise of spirituality and the spawning of spiritual and new age gurus, media ghettos, communalism versus the secular humanist approach and the strands of politics and governance that emanate from these thoughts, as well as some highly polarizing issues like birth control, abortion, homosexuality, death penalty, and of course the horrendous caste system in Hinduism and the associated affirmative action for the underprivileged, or reservation as it's called in India. You may also occasionally or maybe even regularly expect a series of generic vlog-type videos on literature, science, mathematics, cinema, music, and architecture. These things are important because for many of us they fill the so-called God-shaped hole. Clarity, precision, and coherence in thinking are paramount to the Indian atheist. You can expect that we will therefore criticize all instances of careless thinking within our purview. These criticisms may often be surgical in nature and hence will sometimes require identifying by name the individuals who own the intellectual property rights to some of the most bizarre examples of sloppy, twisted, perverted, and sometimes quite frankly dangerous thinking. Deepak Chopra, Jaggi Vasudev, Sri Sri Ravi Shankar, Baba Ramdev, Osho Rajneesh, Mother Teresa, and Zakir Naik. On The Indian Atheist, their thoughts will meet our insatiable, unquenchable curiosity as well as our top-notch, unflinching, no-holds-barred scrutiny. Curiosity and scrutiny, the double-edged sword of science, a pretty handy weapon for when you're fighting against ignorance, willful or otherwise. And also note that although this channel is about India, we are not oblivious to the torrents of stupidity pouring in on us from the outside world. So rest assured, we'll also do the Jordan Petersons of the West, just for fun if for nothing else. You, the audience, can expect within reason that everything that I say here will be thoroughly researched to the best of my abilities and backed up with factual evidence whenever a significant claim is being made. If you do not identify as an atheist or a secular humanist, however, you can expect that most of the things that I say here will sting. Sometimes they'll also make you angry. And while that anger is not always bad, I can promise you that my intention will never have been to elicit anger. Rather, my intention will always be to just try and make you question your own point of view, or failing that, to at least make you see and empathize with mine, just as I will always empathize with yours. Again, within reason. Wherever possible, I'll try to pick a clear side on any given issue and not equivocate. It seems there's too much of that going around these days. But there may be some issues where I might prefer to sit on the fence, and on a case-by-case basis, I will clearly state my reasons as to why I think the fence sitting was warranted. Because most of the videos on this channel will be expressly made with my fellow countrywomen and countrymen in mind, most videos here will have a counterpart in the Hindi or Marathi language. Atheists or volunteers from the non-Hindi speaking parts of India who wish to help with the subtitles in the other Indian languages are most welcome, and they may write to me on indianatheist101@gmail.com or simply drop a comment. As far as what I expect from you is concerned, I expect you first and foremost to doubt, recheck, and rethink everything that I say, but at the same time, keep your mind curious and your heart open. I will not mince words when I'm talking about politics or religion. Religions, especially the one that I was born in, because it's the one that I'm most familiar with. But here's the good news. You can take all the offense you want. In fact, please do be offended when I sometimes, for example, criticize the ruling political party to the exclusion of all else. But note that the key word there is ruling. You have every right to be offended, and so do I. You also have every right to cause offense, and so do I. So don't worry about being civil in the comment section. Say exactly what's on your mind. Let's put all our cards on the table. Let's get it all out in the open. Let us talk and listen to each other. Let us curse. Let us frustrate. Let us exhaust each other. Let us climb the walls together if we are climbing them anyway. But let us ignore each other no more. And lastly, if you strongly dislike the position that I've taken on an issue being discussed in the video, apart from battling it out in the comments, I also expect you to have the discussion again with someone else, preferably with someone who often disagrees with you, and preferably in person, face to face. That's about it, I think. I hope the rest of the content on The Indian Atheist stimulates your mind, moves your heart, and makes you change a long-held view or two. Remember, you're only as young as the last time you changed your mind about something. Until next time, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for listening. Dhanyavad, Shukriya.